In-depth. Investigative. You're watching KXAN News Today at 6.
This has really been an inconvenience to a lot of people, but we're all together on this.
They have such a good attitude about this because imagine for you, if it usually takes you 5 minutes to get to work, but then all of a sudden it started to take you 30 minutes to get there. That really was the daily struggle the last several months for some people in the Hill Country after last year's raging floodwaters washed away their main bridge. Coming up, a first look at the new and improved bridge that's helping connect people and visitors to the Hill Country, and a live report with Candy Rodriguez. Thanks for joining us, everyone, here on KXAN News Today. Happy Friday.
Yeah.
Last day of school Friday.
Day of school for AISD.
Holiday weekend Friday.
So excited.
It's all good. Yeah, and those folks in Kingsland, by my count, more than 7 full months without that roadway. Yep. So can't wait to see it here with Candy in a moment. Let me show you the big holiday weekend forecast. I know you want to know this. Heading into Memorial Day, 92 tomorrow, 92 on Sunday, and for once, no storms on Memorial Day weekend. All 3 days look great for your plans, and even hotter on Monday on the holiday at 93. Maybe you're hitting the road. This is a big road trip weekend all across Texas. This morning, here's a brief look at what we've got. Cloudy skies, a little bit of mist. Now, if you're driving elsewhere at midday, afternoon, watch the timeline, and evening today, the only concerns we have, severe weather and flooding rainfall possible from the Panhandle all the way through Oklahoma. So did you know if you actually take the KXAN weather app with you on the road, it will follow your GPS location if you'd like it to, and it can actually give you an accurate hour-by-hour forecast and GPS-based warnings if you want it to. I actually just heard from a viewer on Twitter the other day. Someone was in Missouri with our KXAN weather app. It warned them of the tornado that was on the way. Great to see that. Now, we're going to get you through today's hour-by-hour forecast. I'll show you how hot and humid it will be in just a few. Let's get you over to Amanda, though, hoping for an easy Friday drive.
And that's what we are seeing shape up so far this morning. If you are someone who's getting out the door in the next few minutes, you won't come across any, major slowdowns on I-35. I-35 at 51st Street kind of gives you better perspective of that with our text camera. These are those traffic volumes approaching the upper and lower decks. Now, we are watching a deadly incident that has closed lanes on 290 near Shallow Ford Drive. That's not far from Circle Drive. So anyone heading in or out of the Hill Country on 290, especially Dripping Springs, will need to plan for delay.
There it is right there. Look at that. Pieces of the 2900 bridge.
It's powerful video, and it's been more than 7 months since the floodwaters washed away and broke apart the 2900 bridge that was in Kingsland.
Yeah, that effectively cut off Kingsland from the areas east of there. But today there is a new beginning because there is a new replacement bridge ready and opening this afternoon.
It is an exciting day. So Candy Rodriguez is live from Kingsland again this morning with a look at that new bridge. Good morning.
Hey guys, good morning. Not having this bridge has been a major factor in a lot of people's lives, but take a look. It is finally complete and ready to go, and people are genuinely excited because not only has this caused headaches for those that have to travel, but it's also impacted businesses' bottom line.
All right, 1622.
It's a local favorite.
Let me bag that for you.
Buddy's one stop at the corner of FM 1431 and RM 2900 in Kingsland is always open and ready for customers.
You have a good day.
But the last couple of months, it's been a little quieter.
For us here, yes, it's drastically changed.
Without the RM 2900 bridge, Buddy's has taken a hit. The store manager says they're losing about $1,000 a day. And it's not just the gas station.
I have about 6 clients in Bridgepoint that were just on the other side of the bridge. They were my closest customers. And since October, they've been my farthest customers.
And for landscaper Mark Diasto, his clock is ticking every day.
Time is a big thing with us, because if I can't get to there, I only get paid when I'm there.
And those at Buddy's can already envision the customers.
It's going to look great. We're ready to have y'all back.
This morning, crews will be out here finishing up, cleaning up debris on the bridge before TxDOT is out here this afternoon to cut the ribbon and reunite communities. Back to you.
All right, Katie, thank you very much. Crews have been working pretty much around the clock since November to build that new bridge. TxDOT officials say the new bridge is wider and higher than the old one, also has a 6-foot sidewalk.
We should be seeing $4 billion additional dollars for Harvey recovery very soon.
That's Texas Senator John Cornyn talking about the disaster relief bill that he and Senator Ted Cruz voted for. The bill now heading to the U.S. House. It provides $19.1 billion to states and Puerto Rico, a territory. The bill does not, though, include money for humanitarian aid at the southern border. That's something that Republicans and the White House wanted. If the bill passes, the disaster aid money will need to be released within 60 days. And if the government doesn't comply, there will be penalties. The funding includes $900 million for Puerto Rico's recovery. That was something Democrats had been pushing for. And NOAA, as we approach hurricane season, says to expect a near normal season in the Atlantic this year. But of course, they're reminding and cautioning us that normal still means there are going to be a lot of storms. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, announced their prediction midday yesterday up in D.C. That's what we're looking at here. Experts with the organization are forecasting between 9 and 15 named storms. Of those, 4 to 8 could intensify into hurricanes, and 2 to 4 of those could be major Category 3, 4, or 5 storms.
This year there are competing climate factors. There's a weak El Nino in place, and El Nino acts to increase the wind shear and suppress activity. Competing with El Nino is the ongoing patterns that we've seen since 1995, and it's these competing factors. There's some uncertainty based on model predictions as to how strong each of those factors will be.
Hurricane season starts in just 1 week. It runs from June 1st through the end of November. But how accurate have these seasonal forecasts been over the past decade? You can watch our in-depth analysis right now in this story on KXAN.com. Amanda?
Drivers in West Austin, we want you to know about this. If your morning commute takes you along Exposition Boulevard, you might want to give yourself a little extra time. Here's why. Austin Water will start what will be a year-long project today to replace old wastewater lines between Enfield Road and West 35th Street. So Exposition Boulevard will be open during all this work in both directions, but it's going to be a lot more narrow and there won't be parking. There's not going to be any more bike lanes. This work is all happening near Cassis Elementary.
So we're able to do the work right here in front of Cassis Elementary during the summer months when there's not as much traffic and there aren't students here at school. So we're glad that that timing is working out to try to make it the least disruptive that we can.
The new line should help prevent water breaks. The old lines were built in the 1950s and 1970s. Most of the work will take place during the weekdays, though they'll save some intersection work for the weekends.
Well, today is last day of class for Austin ISD students. Not the case for other districts. Georgetown, sorry kids, 1 more week. Del Valley, 2 more weeks.
Ames ISD, just a few more days. School leaders in Austin are moving forward with plans to repurpose and consolidate some schools. So they're already thinking about next year. This week, parents have attended a number of question and answer sessions with district trustees trying to get more information. And the district is trying to encourage parents, even though it's summer break, email your trustees. Go to the board meetings. Be part of the town hall meetings that they're going to have over the summer. In October, district leaders are going to take all your feedback that you give them and then use it to shape how they move forward.
I think most parents would like to know that we can have input, and it's not just going to be something where if you happen to be either in a more politically connected or organized part of town that you're going to have your sort of voices heard.
AISD plans to begin implementing the first part of its new plan in the fall of 2020, but district officials say it's going to take 2, maybe 3 years before schools will see any of those changes.
All right, a live look from the UT Tower this morning, or I should say at the UT Tower this morning from the Austonian. And there is an inspiring story coming out of the graduation ceremony later today at the University of Texas. A 69-year-old grandmother is going to be getting her degree.
Joyce Willett, congratulations. She decided to finish up her studies and enrolled at UT 2 years ago. One of her granddaughters just graduated from the University of Kentucky.
Celebrate together.
Joint graduation.
Very sweet. The commencement, by the way, over at UT tomorrow evening. Michael Dell is the one that's going to give this year's speech.
You brought up a good point. Is he going to pay off some student loans?
He is a billionaire. He can afford it.
I mean, technically,
your move, Michael.
I don't want to pressure you, Michael, but technically you are richer than the gentleman last week who paid off.
There are also a few more students at UT, I think, maybe.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. How about Grandma, though? Grandma Joyce?
Yeah, so cool.
69 years old.
So amazing.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
inspiration. Well, let me take you outside to a different live view because the Austonian looks a little dark, but this camera out in Marble Falls from our longest-running webcam partners, Highland Furniture, River City Grill, it does show those low clouds and all of the humidity out there. You can see it this morning. Current wind gusts, just like they have been, 20 or so miles an hour from the southeast. It's a humid, it's a breezy day. This air is coming straight from the Gulf of Mexico, and you can feel it, can't you? 79 as you hit the road at 9 a.m. We'd expect to be about 88 this time of the year for our highs. Just like yesterday, though, above normal at 92, and it will feel even hotter than that. I'll show you who might feel like the triple digits this afternoon and also when. We're also eyeing a pattern change next week that I'm a little more convinced of this morning. New information on how much rain may fall after your Memorial Day holiday coming up in just a bit. Okay, this is a big road trip weekend. Amanda, I know a lot of folks are packing up the car to go see Grandma this morning.
Yeah, maybe so as we go out to the community. But we want drivers to be aware, of course, to drive safely this week. And there is going to be a lot of people on the roads trying to get maybe all around Texas for the long weekend. Now, if you are someone who's heading to or out of the hill country, we do have a deadly crash involving a semi that has shut down lanes here near Shallow Ford Drive on 290. Drivers are all being diverted to the westbound side of the highway, so eastbound traffic and westbound traffic is moving there. You can also detour over to Circle Drive. No word on when this will clear, but I want to give you a fair heads up here. There's a chance that area could still be closed by the time we see that full swing of rush hour traffic. Look at your travel on 183. No major delays as you make your way in from Cedar Park from 620 over to the ramp for Mopac.
People in the UK expected it. They just didn't know when it was going to be coming. Theresa May's big announcement this morning about stepping down as the Prime Minister.
And this is not the news that you want to hear as we start the Memorial Day weekend, but you got to know it. The health concern behind thousands of recalled beef products.
And when you hear of a home break-in, you think vandalism, theft. Coming up, we are going to tell you a home break-in that we should all be so lucky to be victims of.
Welcome back, everyone. A letter sent to homeowners in South Austin making big promises, offering to buy up your South Austin home at market value and hassle-free.
Yeah, we talked to some people in South Austin who got the letter. They showed us what it looked like. These personalized letters have your name handwritten on it, but it turns out they're really not all that personalized after all. KXAN talked to a realtor who said that this is a familiar strategy among investors. They use it to try to buy the home low and then sell it high, or perhaps tear it down altogether to develop the land.
A lot of investors try to bypass the listing process, so they want to get to the house before it hits the market. So a lot of times an out-of-state investor will try to get those homes just directly from the sellers.
Well, she also said that you should always use an in-state agent to manage a listing.
We'll have a follow-up about a family's concern when it comes to mold inside their apartment after all the rain that we've seen over the last 6 weeks. This is Heather Navarro that you're about to see there, and she tells us management at the Springs apartment in Dripping Springs started the cleanup process after KXAN started asking questions. Family says management told them to move into a motel temporarily so that crews can get out there, they can clear out all that mold growing in the walls. Navarro says now she wants to know who's going to pay for the motel stay.
Austin police tell us the wife of a suspect in a murder case turned him in yesterday. Police believe that Vinton Fontenot killed 24-year-old Tyler Athey back in 2016 here in Austin. In March, they got a tip from Fontenot's wife telling them that her husband had confessed to murdering someone. She told police that her husband burned the car with the evidence inside and burned himself in the process.
All right, do not do it for the gram, a popular catchphrase with a serious message. This time, police across the country are asking people, don't put yourself in danger just for that perfect selfie.
In Oregon, police say that a college student fell to her death while she was trying to take a selfie on the coast outside Portland. Officers say that Michelle Casey climbed over a retaining wall to try to get a better view. She slipped and fell 10 stories to the ocean below. When the rescue teams reached her, she was still breathing after hitting a tree that broke her fall, but she did end up dying. Deaths like this, though, are happening at national parks and other popular areas. One study shows that more than 200 or nearly 260 people have died taking selfies in recent years.
So sad. SpaceX is heading to the stars. The company sent a rocket with 60 satellites yesterday in a large leap towards the goal of putting a mega constellation that will beam inexpensive broadband across Earth. if most of the satellites make it, they successfully deploy and they make contact with ground stations, this would be the biggest step any company has made in the field. Getting everything in order is expected to cost roughly $10 billion. A Massachusetts man is stumped after someone broke into his home.
Yes, but here's where it gets weird, because they didn't steal anything. Instead, they just cleaned the house.
But they scrubbed everything down, did the shower, did the toilets.
We should all be so lucky. Nate Roman says he got home last week, found his house was nearly spotless. He says the intruder cleaned the bedroom, or I should say made the beds, cleaned the bathroom, picked up his son's toys, but for some reason, they didn't touch the kitchen.
The suspect even left behind souvenirs, making toilet paper roses that were left on the toilet paper rolls. Now, he now says that as time has passed, it's less creepy and more laughable.
He's like, Daddy, you think they'll come back? And I was like, yeah, it's
finish the kitchen?
Finish the kitchen, right? Yeah, that'd be something.
Well, police still, though, are investigating it as a breaking and entering case, but it would be just a misdemeanor because the person didn't intend to steal anything from the property. David, you brought up the theory, though, that it's a cleaning crew that went to the wrong house.
Possibly.
Which initially I agreed with.
But you would still
what kind of
break in.
But what kind, well, maybe there's like a key under the mat or something. But what kind of cleaning crew does not touch the kitchen?
Well, maybe it was really bad.
It's a dirty kitchen.
Maybe it was
If you're going to break into my home, you better clean the
Best
kitchen.
thief ever,
Or I'll come after you.
Start in the kitchen.
Well, nice weather, guys, through the holiday weekend, which is great news for all of our plans. Let me get you out of the door with some bullet points here, which sums up what we're watching well. Nice weather through the next several days, which we rarely get to say on this typically stormy weekend. Humid, breezy, so maybe some hairspray if you're out on the lake taking photos with friends and families. Otherwise, how about flip-flops? That'll do you just fine all weekend. Now, notice, we do still have some bad weather, and this continues all weekend from the Panhandle to Oklahoma, Missouri, and Kansas. They will not be able to catch a break, but that's not moving because this is not moving. The fair weather system keeping us nice and hot and sunny. That's what's also keeping the storms up in the Midwest if you're traveling that way. Here's what we've got. Just morning clouds, maybe a little mist in some areas. Haven't seen any yet in San Marcos, but I'm watching those cameras like a hawk. 92 degrees once the clouds break this afternoon. Breezy, not quite as windy, though, as the last couple of days. Now, with the humidity, did you know it felt like 99 in the shade yesterday at Camp Mabry in the city of Austin? Felt like 101 out at the airport. That is certainly possible again through the weekend. Today, this feels like temperature model is being a little conservative. I think you can add, 5-6 degrees to these numbers where you live. Now, there are some signs of a pattern change next week, just a subtle one. No significant changes, and this won't happen until after the holiday weekend. But notice on the timeline here, this big fair weather system will shrink down and flatten a bit. Wednesday, Thursday of next week, that might open the door to just a 20% chance of rain. Not convinced it'll be significant. And rain totals all coming mid and late next week. Very insignificant, right? Quarter or third of an inch. So the bottom line, the weather doesn't change through the weekend. Lower 90s, even a little hotter at 93 on the Monday holiday. Next week, we'll keep you posted just in case this changes, but we're only going to hold those rain chances at a slim 20% on Wednesday and Thursday. Let's get you over to Amanda at 621. We're still seeing something in the wake of a deadly overnight accident, and that SUV, it's been towed away now, but it was really smashed up.
It was. This is a sad way to start our Friday morning, and it is going to affect drivers who are maybe heading in or out of the hill country on 290. A quick look at our tech stock camera. Let's talk about where that crash is showing up. If you are on 290, as we mentioned, the incident happened at Shallow Ford Drive. We know that there are westbound lanes open in this area to help east and west traffic move through. You also have Circle Drive as an alternate route. When our photojournalist Todd Bailey spoke with officials and crews on scene, they said there is a chance that this area could still see closures by the time we get to rush hour. We're already seeing some delays picking up here for anyone who's in this part of town. That tanker that you kind of see pulled over to the shoulder, that is one of the vehicles that was involved in this incident. And as you heard David say, the second vehicle has been towed from the scene. As we take a look here, we want you to plan ahead. We know it's a long weekend. Many of you are probably getting out the door to start your holiday vacation, so this is just something to kind of take into account. We'll have another update on your roads and your weather in just 10.
Back now at 6:25, and today could be the start of a new trend at the gas pumps. Prices have been dropping in the Austin area, down a penny in the last week. According to AAA, local gas prices now averaging $2.50 a gallon. Last year, during the same time at the start of the Memorial Day weekend, we were averaging just a little over $2.72 a gallon. Well, the weather is perfect for grilling this weekend, but there's a heads up before you grill those patties or steaks on the grill. The USDA now recalling more than 60,000 pounds of beef.
The concern is E. coli from the Aurora Packing Company. Here's what you need to know. More than 40 products are involved, including short ribs, brisket, and ribeye. Look for the establishment number 788. Right now, there are no reports of illnesses because of the recall.
The Centers for Disease Control says that backyard chickens are the cause of a salmonella outbreak in 21 states, including 2 cases in Texas.
52 people have gotten sick because of this. The CDC says people can get salmonella just by touching live chickens or even holding baby birds at stores or exhibits. Now, coming up at 4:30 today, I'm going to talk to a local doctor about his concerns about salmonella and the #1 thing he says people should do to avoid it.
All right, today's big day for Jeopardy fans and the contestants on a long winning streak.
James Holzhauer is close to reaching a milestone on the show, but that's not the only buzz. We'll explain how thousands of Austin worker bees are getting ready for their big debut on Jeopardy.
And did you happen to check out the happy dog wagging his way through the governor's school finance news conference yesterday? We're going to explain how that all came about coming up. New this morning, after another Brexit failure, British Prime Minister Theresa May announced she is stepping down. She announced she's going to resign on June 7th, quitting as the leader of the Conservative Party. Many in her party had started to revolt against her after she'd failed to deliver a workable plan to withdraw Britain from the European Union.
Okay, so we've been following that deadly crash for you that is impacting traffic in a very busy part of Austin, the Oak Hill area.
That's exactly it, just west of that part of town. So we have people who are potentially coming into Austin for work. We have people who are maybe kicking off a long weekend. So we're keeping an eye on this deadly incident. Again, it happened at US 290 near 71, where Sally just mentioned, near the Oak Hill neighborhood. It's at Shallow Ford Drive. So you can see here the westbound lanes of traffic are open for drivers, and they're diverting both east and west traffic along that stretch of road. What we're looking at right now, crews are getting ready to tow the semi that was involved in this deadly incident. As I mentioned, Circle Drive is a great detour to consider if this is part of your commute. We are still getting details on this crash this morning, but really want you to plan ahead if this is part of your route. There is a very strong chance this could still be closed, or at least see lane closures throughout the morning rush hour commute. Let's go ahead and take a look now at your text dot camera. We're up in Round Rock at I-35 and Hester's Crossing. We've got those traffic volumes really picking up as you make your way southbound through this area. Northbound traffic also looking pretty busy too. A look at all of your roads. It's a slow start to Friday morning when it comes to bumper delays. It could again be that it's Friday before a holiday weekend for those of you who do have to get out the door. How about if you drive through Maine or westbound 290 nearly at a standstill with rush hour approaching that signal light at 973, and northbound 35 already seeing the slow and go moving through that work zone from Slaughter down to Stastny Lane. Your speeds are just kind of hovering there below 20 miles per hour. Good morning, David.
Good morning, Mandy. Let's not bury the lead. The holiday weekend ahead looks great weather-wise. Morning clouds, hot afternoon sun, 92s Saturday and Sunday, 93 on Monday, Memorial Day, and really overall just an unusually quiet and dry weather pattern right in the middle of our wettest time of the year. Our radar not showing much rain here in Austin, but as we warned, we do have a couple little showers here and there. These are way west of that accident Amanda was talking about. These are in Gillespie County from the lovely vineyards near Blumenthal on 290 up 16 toward Enchanted Rock. Rain, though, is going to be very hard to come by just for the next couple hours. Then it's gone. Current temperatures, warm and humid, 78 in Giddings and in Austin. We'll have your hour-by-hour forecast for Friday coming up in just a few. John?
Thank you, David. The bridge that connects people in Kingsland to the Hill Country was washed away by floods last fall, but it's going to be reopening today. Technically, a new bridge reopening today. The rushing waters overpowered the 2900 bridge over the Llano River, and since then, TxDOT crews have been working basically around the clock to build a new one. The new bridge arches over the river, so it's actually 5 feet higher in the middle of the span than the old bridge.
6:33 is the time this morning, and this morning a select panel of lawmakers are going to question leaders of the Department of Public Safety and the Texas Attorney General's office about cell phone video from that high-profile traffic stop of Sandra Bland.
You threatening to drag me out of my own car. Get out of the car. And then you're going to stun me?
I will light you up. Get out.
Wow.
That is video from Bland's cell phone, and it's raising questions by the chair of the County Affairs Committee, Garnett Coleman. He's the author of the Sandra Bland Act. And Coleman wants to know if the video was turned over to the Bland family's attorney during their lawsuit against the state.
The Bland family settled with Waller County for nearly $2 million in 2016, and perjury charges were dropped against the trooper Brian Insignia when he gave up his law enforcement license in 2017. Coleman spoke to us yesterday about the questions he has for the Department of Public Safety.
Because they said if they gave the video, it would have an impact on the criminal case. Well, it should have had an impact on the criminal case. That's the whole point. And I'm sure that most people would have been even more incensed that Trooper Encina got off so light.
A spokeswoman for the Department of Public Safety tells KXAN the Bland attorneys got the video in October 2015 during discovery for their lawsuit. Yesterday in the afternoon, DPS provided a letter sent to Bland's attorneys in 2015 as proof. The spokeswoman tells us any claim of concealment of this video is demonstrably false. We're going to be at that hearing this morning and stream it on KXAN.com.
City of Austin has some new rules for scooter riders they hope are going to promote safer riding.
City Council talked about multiple ordinances at last night's meeting, and one man is going to give police the authority to do something they haven't done before.
Yeah, so maybe this will kind of change the way we see scooters zipping.
Not riding them on moped, perhaps?
Yeah, perhaps that. All right, I've seen some on Lamar, too, during rush hour. All right, so this means that now police will be able to ticket riders who are violating city rules. A first citation will land you a $20 fine. The rules will go into effect in a couple weeks. Another ordinance they're looking at is moving to a franchise model like limos and pedicabs use. Scooter companies say the rule was unprecedented.
We're concerned that this franchise model will impede innovation. The industry is evolving quickly. It's only existed for 18 months, and there are many vehicles coming online.
Council ultimately decided to postpone their vote on moving to a franchise model until August.
Austin City Council has approved also the Palm District Master Plan. It's a beginning process now of expanding and improving the convention center, while also recognizing the cultural history of that area around the convention center. We have more information for you on KXAN.com.
Here's a question for you. Are you fed up with robocalls? Lawmakers are too. The U.S. Senate passed the Traced Act yesterday. The legislation would impose stiffer fines per call on those who knowingly defy the rules. The bill would also increase the statute of limitations to 3 years and instructs the FCC to develop further regulations that could stop unwanted calls.
The verbal attacks between President Trump and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi are now getting even more personal.
It comes as Special Counsel Robert Mueller says he wants to testify. Craig Boswell is following the latest from Washington. Good morning, Craig.
Don and Sally, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, more harsh words between President Trump and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. And as you mentioned, Robert Mueller, we may hear from Robert Mueller, the source of the Russia report.
Special Counsel Robert Mueller wants to testify behind closed doors.
He's willing to make an opening statement, but he wants to testify in private.
Mueller's report on Russian interference in the 2016 presidential campaign left it to lawmakers to decide if President Trump obstructed justice, setting off congressional investigations and now a personal feud between the president and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
Crazy Nancy. I tell you what, I've been watching her, and I have been watching her for a long period of time. She's not the same person. She's lost it.
I wish that his family or his administration or his staff would have an intervention.
Then this.
I'm an extremely stable genius.
Pelosi tweeted, "When the extremely stable genius starts acting more presidential, I'll be happy to work with him on infrastructure, trade, and other issues."
He was not sent up here to guard the pot. He was sent up here to stir the pot. And that's